All right, friends and family, thank you for joining here on this 8/8 portal day. This sort of made up day because we're making all this up anyway. This energy with the 8 and the 8 is coming through really loud and clear, as some of us are, just really tuning into the energy, the significance of repetitive numbers. Numerology has its own energy life force, so to speak. And what I wanted to share with you today and to look at through contemplation and just some of the transits that are happening that you may be experiencing throughout this day, throughout this portal of energy, throughout this transit of the planets, the stars, the energy forms that surround us that we may or may not be aware of. So I just wanted to jump in and kind of reflect as I was experiencing it and looking at some of the transits that were significant, which the first significant transit that I'm looking at here, there's an exact opposition happening between Pluto in Capricorn at 26 degrees, exactly opposite Venus in Cancer at 26 degrees. And so when there's exact oppositions in your contemplation station, I want you to think of like oppositions of the opposite poles of the universe. So there's the North Pole and the South Pole. There is the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. And when we're dealing with oppositions, through my own, again, contemplation and gnosis of opposition energy, I think of, there's another part of the world that's happening right now. I'm in the United States. I'm in the North Carolina state of the United States. And in this portion of the world, we are in our summer months, right? We are in August, which is the dog days of summer. And we are experiencing heat and, the energy of summer, okay? So the opposite would be the opposite side of the world would be experiencing winter. I'm thinking of, I'm part of a gifting community that is originating from South Africa. And so right now, this is their winter months, right? So they're opposite of where I am and what I'm experiencing. So I'm experiencing heat. And there is the other that is experiencing cold. So just laying the groundwork for opposition energies, if you can imagine Pluto, which is our soul, our point of power, transformation, in Capricorn, which wants structure, our governing bodies, foundation, is opposite or is experiencing a different reality timeline than Venus, which is our planet of love and money and magnetism, in the sign of Cancer, which wants home and safety, or safety in the home rather, and which is our ancestral roots. So there is definitely on this 8/8 day, which I'm being drawn now to Jupiter right here, which is the planet of expansion, at 8 degrees on this 8/8 day in the sign of Aries, which is the I am presence, which rules the first house, how we are seen. It rules our action and initiation, a cardinal point, okay? And what I find interesting is that Capricorn is also a cardinal point, and so is Cancer. Cardinals are beginning points. So as I'm tuning into the energy and experiencing it real time in my own life, there is definitely a push-pull between power and money, between structure and safety, between our governing outside forces and our inner family ties, our ancestral roots, if you will. So as the moon is in Sagittarius, it's culminating, going into its anaretic when it goes into Capricorn here the next few hours. Sagittarius is wanting right now, while the moon is still in Sag, what are we perceiving? Because what we perceive is what we believe. And right now, there's different perceptions that are wanting to dominate the field. The perception of power and structures outside of us, and our own ability to be safe, to have monetary and financial security. And so all of us can be feeling this fear, right? This push-pull energy of what we want as an individual and what the collective bigger wants. And that's going to be more Aquarius Saturn configuration. And that's going to have an exact opposition to Leo on the 11th, which is also a full moon. And we can go into that a little later because there's a lot of different things happening right now, a lot of coinciding energies, conflicting energies, but also collaborative energies. And so on this 8-8 portal, the themes to me, it's about power and money. It's about safety and collapsing structures, because Pluto here is about the transformation. It's like the snake shedding its skin. And in Capricorn, it's literally shedding old layers, old structures, old governments, old governing bodies, the way we govern ourselves, the way we have been governed. And Venus here, she's about, of course, in Cancer, our safety, our home, and our values. What do we value from our home, from our safety, from our structures? And so, gosh, it's sometimes, right now, Virgo, or Mercury, right now, how we think and how we speak in Virgo. So I'm trying to be perfect in what I'm saying, and it's not turning out that way. So I'm just going to take a breath, which that's actually what I've been doing all morning in preparation for not only this talk, this connection, this reflection, but I really had to move my body and take lots of breaths, because there is, with the nervous system right now, Saturn, it's really asking me to structure and bring structure to my nervous system through my routines of Virgo, how I'm taking care of myself. So really utilizing the breath as I'm learning to speak not only on these currents of energy to myself as I'm experiencing it, but speaking to the collective to share, Leo, my creations, to shine light on what it is that I'm perceiving in a clear, coherent way, but it's not going to be perfect, right? So Virgo wants perfection. And what I'm hearing is it's not so much that things are perfect, it's the perfect practice. So taking a breath, let's just do that right now, as a matter of fact. Whenever you listen to this, whenever you tune into this energy, just take a cosmic breath. Let's do a 4 square breathing, right? 4 is foundation, which would be Saturn. And so let's just take a nice deep inhale for the count of 4, hold for 4, release for 4. And on the bottom of the release, hold for 4 there. And let's do that 4 times together. This is a sacred breath for foundation, because this is the practice right now, is can you stay present even when there's opposition energies? Can you stay present even when there's conflicting thoughts happening within your own psyche, while there's fear that's being brought up to be transmuted? Can you breathe through these expressions? Can you breathe through these energies? Because sometimes it really is in just the breath, the sacred breath that we have, that will help us move from moment to moment as these frequencies, these currents are pushing through us, almost like a child. It's pushing us out of the birth canal to be born, right? It's like the snake that's shedding its skin. It's got to wiggle, it's got to move, it's got to finagle its way out of this old exoskeleton, so to speak. And so we do that through the breath. So let's breathe together in through the nose. The nose has a filtration system that's already made in us to filter out toxins and things in the air. So let's breathe through the nose. Nice deep count for 4. Hold for 4. Release for 4 through the nose. Hold at the bottom of the breath for 4. Let's do that again 3 more times. And just breathe normally. Thank you for taking that sacred breath with me. As I'm doing my best to explain the currents as I feel them and see them, it's pushing through confusion energy, pushing through my own fear, my own insecurities, my own inner thoughts that can be very distracting. And so it really is a point of focus with the breath to come back into balance as much as we can, as many times as we need to, by the way, not just on this day, but the current days coming up as we're approaching this full moon as well on the 11th, which also is a galactic activation portal day for those that follow the 13 moon galactic calendar system with the Mayan calendar. That day on August 11th is also a big pivotal point in consciousness that we're having another opposition energy between the sun and the moon. So, opposition seems to be the theme here. And how can we coexist knowing that there are opposing forces? So in my meditation in this AM, it's like recognizing that there are other cultures, that there are other beings living a completely different experience than mine right now in this now time moment, right? So my friends in South Africa are experiencing the winter months while I'm experiencing the heat. So there is almost that opposition energy. There's the cold recognition that there is a reality timeline outside of my current one, that it is existing right now, whether I can see it or not. I know that there are beings experiencing a completely different reality than the one I'm experiencing. So to me, that's what oppositions are. Pluto here at 26 degrees in Capricorn is experiencing a completely different reality timeline than Venus at 26 degrees. And what I find interesting on this 8-8 portal, because numerology also represents energy patterns. And when you take double digits, you always want to add them together. So the 2 plus the 6, ironically, is the 8, right? And here's the 2 plus the 6 is the 8. We break down, when you study numerology, you break down to single digits. So we do have this interesting pattern happening with the 8. And if you've watched my last video, it's about the innate. So if you look at the symbol of the 8, right in the middle of that symbol, see there's two opposing forces. There's the outer of the wheel of the 8 here, and there's the outer on this side here. But in the middle there is that center point, it's the fulcrum. That's where we want to be during these transits, these opposition energies. Can you stay in the middle of your heart space while these opposing forces are happening? Can you find security, Cancer and Venus, somehow in the middle of this push-pull while there's so much transformation happening, so much uncertainty? Because the caterpillar, as it's transforming, it doesn't realize it's going to turn into a butterfly yet. While it's molting and literally dissolving its organs and its whole being to become something else, it really, that is the ultimate faith. It doesn't know what it's becoming yet. It just knows that it's changing. And that's where we are with our governing systems, is we know our governing systems are changing. We don't know what they're changing into yet. That's yet to be seen. We just know that there's massive change, Aquarius and Saturn, our structures. And what I'm tuning into is what that changes into is going to be based on our consciousness, right? What's going to be based on the vibration, the frequency, the action, Taurus and Mars right now. Also still this conjunction happening between the North Node, Uranus, and Mars. It's within 3 degrees here. We had the exact conjunction happening on the 1st, but we still feel the potency of this energy. And this energy really is, it's showing us that we have to take new action to have a different experience, to have a new experience of our nations, our communities, our global communities. And so, but what that's changing into is going to be based on how well we can take care of each other, Cancer, how much we can nurture our families, our surrounding neighbors, our friends, ourselves, Taurus is about the self, me, my own, my own innate abilities, my own body. So in this time of uncertainty, as we're tapping into our innate abilities, the 8-8, it's time to really step up our action towards taking care of ourselves, towards learning to breathe properly, towards learning proper alchemy, which is Scorpio right here, right? We've already mastered this. On a collective level, we know that alchemy has to happen, that certain things have to, like if you want, it's, think about a meal preparation, right? Which also Taurus rules. Taurus rules the five senses, what we can taste, touch, smell, hear, and feel. And Scorpio realizes for us to be able to alchemize and to be able to have a new sense of self, there's got to be a dismantling. So think of like when you go to cook a meal, right? And you want to use the herbs, you have to muddle, or you have to disintegrate the herbs, you have to mash them together to create the aroma, to extract the oils that are going to be produced to have these experiences of the senses. So a lot of us are being muddled right now in a way. A lot of us are being pushed and pulled and, so to speak, hammered, if you will, which is the Vulcan energy, forged in a new way. And what's going to happen to help us, what we can do to help us through this, is to stay in our breath, to stay in our bodies as much as we can, to use high alchemy, which is using, essential oils, using breath, using movement, things that are more natural, that are more organic in form. You can use synthetic, but I'm inviting you to have a less synthetic and more organic experience. And especially if we tune into the nature spirits and into the plant life around us, they have millions upon millions upon millions of years of divine intelligence that we can tap into if we go outside, if we connect to our breath, we connect to the nature spirits around us. Because this is a time of uncertainty. We have no idea with these opposition poles what's happening on the other pole. We just know we want to stay in the middle of this perspective, and in the middle of this balancing act, if you will, as we're transforming. And in the middle, if you think about even the body, right? If Leo here is at the top, which is the head, and Pluto is at the feet, well, the middle space is the heart, which is ruled by Leo. And so allowing our light sun shining into our heart space by our creative force, by being original, by being our own unique expression, by breathing. These are the elements and the energies that we can utilize to help us heal, to help us grow, to help us transform. This is the Chiron energy, right? Still within 8 degrees of Jupiter as we're expanding. There's a massive healing happening on a global level, on an individual level, and within our families. Cancer, can we forgive those who have hurt us and wronged us, the ones who are our most intimate relationships, mom, dad, siblings, grandmothers, grandfathers? Because when we can find forgiveness and unity within the family, that's what we can pull and bring into with our governing bodies, with the beings outside of us, our legislative bodies, our brothers and sisters who we gave what power, control, trust to rule our governing systems. So this is a massive healing opportunity with our innate abilities, the 8. But you got to go in your heart. You got to forgive. These are the frequencies. These are the vibrations that will help us remove this exoskeleton, if you will, to allow us to transform in a more robust, gentle, grace and ease way. And no, it's not always easy to forgive. It's a practice. Again, perfect practice, Virgo. But if you can get into your body, you can get into your hearts, you can collaborate your mind with your heart, that cohesive energy, then that's what we all need right now to manifest a higher version reality timeline of where we're all at, well, where we've been, what we've been doing. It's changing. And yeah, it's unknown what it's changing into, but it's through our imagination station, Virgo, our continued purification of our thoughts, of our actions, of how we take care of ourselves, our health. That's what's going to help us move through these transits. And we're going to be supported, you know, Virgo and Mercury, it's going to be moving more and more towards the end of the month. It's going to be trining Capricorn and Pluto. And for the next few weeks, it's also going to be trining Mars and Uranus and the North Node. So staying in the Virgonian way of structure, of routine, of making it a practice, a perfect practice of taking care of yourself in the best way you know how. And if you don't know how to take care of yourself, learn. This is also Virgo, right? It's about information. Do your own self-study. Tune into your own gnosis about what your body needs. And so that's an invitation as well, as the moon is getting ready to go into Capricorn. And again, we're going to have over the next few days, the moon's going to come in and it's going to be conjuncting Pluto, but it's also going to be trining Mars, Uranus, and again, Mercury, is that we can really pointed focus. If you can stay in your heart and really focus on yourself, on your well-being, then that's going to dictate the outcome as a collective that we all experience, that we all want to generate from our heart space. So it's an invitation to contemplate these energies. If you want to know astrology more, there's self-study, there's ways to do it. You can contact me. I love to share the knowledge of astrology, just what I've learned throughout the years, and to be able to help you navigate your own chart and see where these transits specifically and what houses are happening for your particular frequency. And maybe we can dive deep into what these specific energies can mean for you as an individual. Because as we individually continue to take care of ourselves, that energy and frequency of nurturance and of self-respect and support and finding that security within, that's what we're going to be able to share with the collective. That's our PowerPoint. But we got to tune into that. We got to practice it. And if it hasn't been your practice to self-care, now is a time to initiate this practice. Because as you take care of yourself, then you can take care of the other. If you don't know how to take care of yourself, you really can't take care of the people around you. It's an inside job. As within, so without. As above your heart space, Leo, as so below our foundation, our soul's practice. It is the perfect practice that we're striving towards. It's not perfection, but it is the perfect practice. So go enjoy this 8/8 portal day. Enjoy divine contemplations. Enjoy your breath. Practice with the breath. See how consciousness wants to breathe through you by taking time and space to connect consciously with your breath, with your body, with your divine alchemy, with fresh water, fresh herbs. These are the tools that will help you navigate and find that center point. Thank you for taking the time to tune in. And again, if you want to like and subscribe, livezenastrology.com. And I'm also on YouTube. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all the social media networks. And it is my calling to share information in this way. And if it just helps one of you out there to find a better way to navigate, to find some grace and ease, some balance while these very transformative times are happening, then I would have fulfilled my purpose on this planet. If I can just bring one of you more peace, more joy, more perspective on how to better take care of yourselves, so that we can all experience this world in just a more graceful way, then I would have completed my mission. And I am eternally grateful for this now moment. Thank you for sharing your energy. Blessings to you. See you soon.